So this is the general overview of the Gemini application. As we can see, it's more modular than a more compact version that you would see in the Maverick design. And one advantage for this would be that we can provide a good user experience from start to finish with this module design. Overall, this does not vary that far away from our paper prototype, except for the fact that we enhanced some of the locations in which we would be prompting for information. For example, we have a dialog box here instead of like in this corner down here, which we had in our prototype. An advantage for this would be that it would focus the user's eye in the top corner of the screen instead of somewhere in the center. This way the user has more screen space for the keyboard to come up and, in a sense, not take away any information from the user. However, a disadvantage from this and the paper prototype of this version would be that the user will be previewing their map once and being able to see it again later. So in a sense, the paper prototype took away from this by just hopping from this screen here to this screen here and so on and so on. So in a sense, the user wouldn't be seeing the map a second time. But some can argue that seeing how far you go is good, but then again, seeing multiple things again and again can cause the user to be disinclined to use the application again. Also, another disadvantage would be that the user will have to bear through many transitions through each screen, and because each screen has, in a sense, one question, and as soon as they hit the next, a next question would pop up. However, a disadvantage would be that because we have this more module, the user will have to bear with us and get through each process without being able to, in a sense, see ahead. Because in a compact setting, you can see what's coming next and basically prep your mind for, oh, I need to enter my name and then my driver's license information, or such and such. However, if the user is a guest, he or she will then click guest, be prompted to enter their driver's license information, as well as where their driver's license is from, and then continue with entering their destination. Upon agreeing to the terms and conditions, the user can then see an overview of their trip. So this is the Gemini design for the rotor route. This is the general overview that we have. Over here you can see that this is the deciding factor of whether or not you'll see specific screens. For example, if you click student, we will only be prompted with two screens where the student will enter their university ID. However, the guest will be prompted with the ability to add their driver's license number as well as the state in which they reside in, or where they get their driver's license. Other than that, all these screens you see here are generally will be seen by both user and guests. And by user, I mean students. So when the user is done with their trip, they would hit done, and they would be prompted with a rating screen. On this screen, the user will have a slider here to indicate how much they like our application, and have the ability to enter additional feedback that they think that we might need. And upon completion of this, they would be taken back to the main page, which will then be ready for the next user to enter a location. This is the Gemini design for the rotor route application. The first thing the user will see will be a student button or a guest button. Depending on what the user clicks, different information will be requested from the user. So for example, if the user is a student, they would hit the student button, go ahead and enter their UID here. Keyboard will pop up to assist that. Go ahead and continue. They would then enter a destination in which they would go to. Upon entering, they will have an autocomplete which the user can select to finish their destination. Then the user must agree to the terms and conditions before they continue. Before they are ready to request a quadcopter, a mapping showing where their destination will end and where they will start will give the user kind of a glimpse of how far they will be traveling. After the user enters their destination and valid information of who they are, they can then request a quadcopter by pressing OK. A loading screen will be buffering to indicate that there is a quadcopter coming on the way, and after that a button will show indicating that the quadcopter is here and they're ready to begin their travel. So once the user clicks go, a similar map of a preview that they've seen before will show up, except now you will have a progress bar here indicating how far you are along in your trip, where you start and where you'll end, and now you have this back button here to go back and change your destination and essentially canceling your current trip. In this bottom corner we have a video feed of the user's quadcopter. So once they're done, a pop-up will come up and show that they have arrived, and at this point the user can press back to see their map, or press done to essentially send the quadcopter back. So one of the main differences between the Gemini mid-fidelity prototype and the paper prototype was the rating screen. So as you can see here, we have a slider in which the user can slide and illustrate their opinion about our app, and we can have them enter in additional information into this text box if they wish to, and then submit the application. We don't ask the user multiple questions to decrease the time in which they have to enjoy the scenery that they arrived at. So this here is a general overview of the Maverick design. As you can see, most of the information is always on the same screen. It's usually hidden, so when the user effectively clicks a button, it will toggle another screen or another type of data in the different dialogues. So for example, if the student selects the student, then they will be prompted to enter their university ID here, whereas guests will be prompted to enter their driver's license here. So it's more or less of a information overload where everything is on the screen that either the student or the guest will always see. So the difference that the Gemini has is it separates the information onto different, so to speak, screens, so that we slowly ease in information that the user requests.